Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a very happy holiday and jumping right into the new year where we are now officially in a celebration year. All things go well, right? We have a celebration in just a few months. Um, just want to say hi for those of you who don't know. My name is Frank. I am, uh, in addition to a admin here in the celebration group, I'm the owner and founder of Star Wars Autograph News. And we're doing this show every the second Wednesday, Monday of every month. And sorry I had to miss last month. Having some health issues, but looking forward to should be all set by February and excited to talk some Star Wars autographs, collecting Star Wars autographs at Celebration with you tonight. So second Monday of the month leading up to Celebration, scheduled for May, just a few more months. So hope you can join us each month. If you can't, you know what? You can check out the show on our YouTube channel for Virtual Cantina. So every show is being recorded by our producer, Dave, who is working behind the scenes right now. Thank you for your hard work, David. Very much appreciated. And you put together a great looking show. So looking forward to tonight. All right. And again, StarWarsAutographNews.com is my website. This is 10th year. I saw the site in November of 2011. So this is our 10th, going into our 10th year now. We have all types of resources for Star Wars autograph collecting, reputable places where you can buy autographs, convention appearances for actors, authors, artists, anybody that's had a hand in making Star Wars come to life. We try to get their information out there, and websites where actors have that you can get autographs directly from the signers themselves. Just a wealth of resources. So check us out, StarWarsAutographNews.com. Instagram and Twitter, we are at SW Autograph. So check us out. Come to the site. This show, we're talking about Celebration and collecting autographs at Celebration. And the last time we did a show, like I said, we didn't do a December show, but in November, we talked about things you can do now to get ready for when Celebration does happen. Whether you're new to collecting, you've been doing it for a long time, there's things that you can do now to make sure you're ready. And that November show, if you attended, you watched, you may have had some technical challenges with the sound. So I'm just going to quickly kind of review what I talked about in November. And then we'll get into it. We're going to keep it kind of low key tonight. We'll answer some questions and have a little chat. But the three things we looked at in November were what you need to have if you're collecting autographs. What should you have at Celebration to make sure that they're safe, that you can carry your autographs around comfortably, but also so that the autographs don't get damaged. And we'll start with the biggest thing is the backpack. So here, this is the backpack I have. I think I've had this backpack since 2013. I've been using the same backpack. The only thing, that black handle at the top, the black pack ripped off a couple years ago. But you want to get a backpack. This is a laptop, designed for a laptop that can hold up to an 11 by 17-inch laptop. And it's important because if you're collecting flat images, either 8 by 10, 11 by 14, or even 11 by 17, you're going to be able to put those into the backpack and carry them around pretty easily. This is very durable. There's so many different types of backpacks you can get, and there's a lot of cool Star Wars backpacks. When we talked, there's a lot of people said they had, a Star Wars themed, Boba Fett or some type of Star Wars backpack, which is cool. Make sure you're going for something sturdy. If you're doing it for autographs, something that's going to keep your investment safe. Autographs are not cheap. They haven't been for a very long time. Starting price in Anaheim is probably going to be, if it's $50, that's great. We should consider ourselves lucky, probably going to be closer to 60 starting price for one autograph. In Autograph Hall, then you'll have other opportunities for authors and artists who will be free or very nominal price, but it's an investment. You got to keep it safe. So get yourself a good sturdy backpack, durable, that can take a beating and keep whatever is inside safe. Next, we're going to say, we talked about, you got to put those autographs in the backpack, but obviously you're not just going to put a piece of paper into the section where the laptop goes. You have to put it in something. And that comes to the next part. And this is what I recommend. This is all I recommend to both to take to a show, to put your autographs in, but also when you get home, that you use these to store your flat autographs. Again, 8x10s, 11x14s. They come in just a myriad of sizes, whatever works best for you. All right, so you take this to the show, you get your autograph. Hayden Christensen signs your autograph. You give it a second, you let it dry, you make sure it's dry, and you put it into this. You'll notice when we get to the next slide that this is not a 3-ring binder. All right, the pages open up flat. There's no binder. Archival, safe, that it's not going to damage the autograph once it's in there. Again, make sure it's dry, especially if you're using a paint pen or anything like that. Make sure it's dry when you put it in there. It's going to be safe. Okay, I take either 11x14 or 11x17 a Toya portfolio with me to every show I go to, and then my entire collection is in these binders. Just important to remember, keep them, when you store them, keep them upright. Don't keep them lying down. You don't want to stack them on top of each other. You want to stack them this way so that they're upright. Okay. A lot of even new collectors, if even you've only picked up one autograph, a lot of times what happens is they go into a plastic, we call them a top loader. It's just a plastic sleeve that the autograph goes in. Unfortunately, a lot of times the autograph goes in and it stays in there. Even when you take the piece of paper out, the autograph affixes itself to the plastic if it's left in there too long, or again, if the ink is too fresh. They're good if you're talking about a day getting from the show to get home. But if you're getting more than one autograph, this is the way to go. And if you're watching the show, I'm guessing you're probably going to get more than one autograph. Stay away from the top loaders unless you're just in an emergency. You need something to carry it. You don't have your book for whatever reason. Do that. Okay. So with the backpack, Toya binder, portfolio. They give away a lot of posters at Celebration, or there's a lot of prints that you might get, posters that are for sale, artwork that you're going to pick up in Artist Alley. Actually, I might not have put a picture in for this, but I didn't. So the other thing I forgot to put in was a poster tube, which we talked about last time, but I forgot to send. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So when I said David's good, David is good. And so this is an example of a poster tube that we talked about that last show. Come in different sizes. They sling over your shoulder. And these are really good you roll up your poster. You see people, if you've been to Celebration, you've seen people walking around with a giant poster and it's getting mangled or it's rolled up and it's getting beat up. And, there's a lot of people at Celebration and it's not safe for the poster. And we get a lot of great exclusives or free prints after a panel. If you can get it to fit into your portfolio, you got one big enough, perfect. I think they usually, don't quote me, I think they're usually 11x17s and they fit into that. But if not, you want to get one of these posters if you think you're going to be doing anything, picking up anything like a poster size. Okay. Those three things are just essential if you're collecting autographs at Celebration. I actually, this cardboard one, they've just brought out, I keep a shorter one in my convention backpack that I showed you for every show I go to, just in case. It actually fits into one of the pockets for the in that backpack. And yeah, I don't know if it might be 12 inches, 14-ish, and that it fits right into the bag. And that's great too, because I don't do a lot of posters. So if I'm not taking a poster with me, Rhode Island Comic Con, I brought in a big Clerks poster, so I had to bring in my plastic tube. Otherwise, I take one of these 12-inch cardboard ones, put it in the bag, and I'm covered. All right, so it's and they're cheap, and half the time you can find them for free. So those are things to consider to keep your autographs safe at Celebration. We didn't really talk about what to put in your bag other than these things. And we're still, we said it's getting closer. We still have more time that we'll talk about other things you can get. Obviously, you might want to get some pens, just in case, Celebration we talked about this autograph hall, this Artist Alley, where there's just a wealth of autographs you can get in Artist Alley authors. But there's also a lot of opportunities when you're just walking through the hall, and the last one for me, John Knoll, I just happened to bump into him. I got a picture, I didn't ask for an autograph, but a lot of times they'll sign. And we know we've seen a lot of photos of, when Dave Filoni has the cowboy hat on, if he's on the floor, you can approach him and he'll sign your autographs, whatever he has in the past. If the hat's off, that means don't bother him. But if the hat's on and you have something for him to sign, you want to have a pen. So we'll talk about that. Just I'll throw this in right now. If I say markers for autographs, 99% of the people are going to think Sharpie. And while there's a lot of great things you can do with a Sharpie, autographs, it's not the best option that you have. And we'll talk more about that. If you have questions, let me know, and we can talk about that beforehand. But you might want to have some nice autographing pens in your bag for Celebration. All right, so that pretty much is just a quick recap of November. The November show, in case you were on the wrong end of the technical difficulties that we were having with the sound. Let's take a look let's see if we have any questions. Like I said, tonight we're going to keep it informal. We're going to ease back into the show and getting ready, because we don't have we don't have any guests yet. So we see what we can do before we get to leading up to the show. And there is David, our producer.
So we've got a few questions. Hang on.
Okay.
Yep. So first question is, I'm going to take the opportunity to do my own questions first, because I'm producing and
you make it look good. You can ask whatever you want.
So I've recently acquired an autographed photo that I both want to protect and to display. Do you have any kind of recommendations on and sources, because I've been looking already, recommendations and sources on frames? There's something, does it need to have UV glass? What's going to be best to do that?
I'm going to put out another option for you too that you may or may not have thought about already, but it didn't occur to me either to make a copy of the autograph. If you can get a good print of it, keep the actual autograph safe. Archival quality is what we're talking about when we're talking about which the Itoyas do. You keep that safe and then you display it. A lot of people are doing that now. Otherwise, no. If it's that seems. See, when I first heard that, I thought that seems kind of. I want the actual autograph. I want to see the autograph that I have. Like I said, if you did resource, the biggest thing that you're going to see, the couple of things that come to mind before we're talking about where you can get them, and you could do this at Big Frame. There's different places, chains that can do with them. The first thing, no matter what you get, you have to have a place in your house that there's any type of light can really can deteriorate that signature. No matter what you have for glass, no matter what you've done to protect it in the frame, light is not an autograph's friend. And again, that's another reason to, unless you have a man cave dungeon type of situation, there's light everywhere. But that's the thing. It used to be, we would say, don't put it anywhere where there's direct sunlight. But we've found out, it's not even just that. It can be indirect. It can be lighting, depending on what type of light you have in your home. It can really fade an autograph, especially if we're talking about a black Sharpie. certain types of Sharpies will deteriorate quicker than others. So those are a couple things that no matter what you get, you have to think about. All autographs that are framed, you have to mat them. They have to have a good mat to them so that the autograph is never directly on touching the glass. It has to be space between that, the piece of paper and the frame of the frame, the glass frame. Otherwise, if you ever decide to take that out, your autograph is going to stay on the glass, and you'll have a beautiful signed piece of glass, but you're not going to have it on that photo. I have one right now. One of my first autographs was Peter Mayhew. I have a gorgeous Peter Mayhew autograph, not from his golden oldie days in the 90s where he was, back when he had the mustache and the dark hair, but 2005, beautiful signature. And I had it framed. It is right up against the glass, and that autograph will never ever be able to come out. I have 2 autographs framed. I went to the place I just named. I think it's called Big City. They're a chain. I know they're up here in the Northeast. I'm assuming they're everywhere. They had a special. I did 2 Ralph McQuarries that I got at Celebration 6. And if you collect from Ralph McQuarrie, he either signed RMQ or R. McQuarrie, and these are both R. McQuarrie pieces, which is what he did as he got up there in age. He stopped and just did the RMQ. So these are 2 these are prized autographs in my collection, and I made sure that I went through a lot of effort to make sure that they would be kept safe, however I display them. I'm looking at one of them right now. I'm looking at the floor, so it's not up on my wall because I still don't have a good place to put it. But it's framed, and I spent a little extra. That's another thing too. Don't do the quick, easy, or least expensive options when it comes to framing. You might have to spend a little bit more. I have a great resource. And David, maybe if you remind me, because I'm getting old and forgetful, I have a great article that I wrote. I didn't write. I'm sorry, that my friend John wrote for my website, and it's essentially Autograph Framing 101, and it's a great resource. He goes through it step by step. If we could maybe put that into the description of this video.
We can put any links of anything we talk about here into the chat and on the YouTube, so we'll have that recorded. And also, I love the idea of getting the copy of it, because then all these things that we're talking about having to be careful and using the matting and going for the professional framing, you don't have to do anymore. No. You can put a copy of your autograph in the cheapest frame, whatever you want to, and I love that. That's a great idea.
Again, initially I thought that just seemed sacrilegious, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, no, this is the way to go. I would just recommend, if there's any way to indicate maybe on the back of the copy that this is not an authentic autograph, this is a facsimile. Because if that ever falls into the wrong hands, whatever, or somebody says, somebody gets a hold of it, and then they can use that as a forgery. And we really want to do, as collectors in a community, we want to do what we can to. We're never going to be able to eliminate forgeries in the autograph hobby, but we want to do our part to make sure we don't make it easy for anybody. So, just something.
All right. So, some other questions we have going here is. Jonathan Notman asked, what is your opinion on when the talent says that they can only sign a paid autograph, and it has to someone for contractual reasons or whatever? They can only dedicate it. They can't just sign their name.
Yeah. John, hey, first, John, hello. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. I heard you just had a move, so congratulations. So John, personally, I want the option of, as many of us do, whether or not to have personalization. I'm at a point with my collecting, I have been for many years, I do not want personalization. for the simple fact that someday I'm going to be gone, and my collection's probably going to go to my daughter, and she's probably not going to want to keep it, and she might want to sell it. And there's a lot of money for her to have at that point when I'm gone. And if it says to Frank, it's going to be tougher for her to sell, or she won't make as much money. All right, so that's my reason. There are some that do this. They say contractual. Most of the actors I've talked to, or the signers I've talked to, they do this because they think every autograph that they sign is going to go on eBay, and whatever you paid, you're going to make 3 times what you just paid them. And they think that by doing this, they're going to eliminate that risk, which is not the case. I'll give an example of a time I said no to an autograph. This was at Rhode Island Comic Con a few years back, and I have, in addition, I like to collect, obviously Star Wars autographs, but I guess also Star Wars adjacent autographs. I don't know, for lack of a better term, Star Wars and pop culture. So I have a Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back poster signed by Kevin and Jay and all, I don't know, maybe not tons, but probably 10 signatures on there. And none of them say to Frank. On a poster, even if you like to have your autographs dedicated, there's nothing wrong with that. Dedicated meaning personalized to you. On a poster, I don't recommend that. And on an 8x10, if you're going to get more than one signature on it, you certainly don't want to have, it's going to limit the number of autographs you can get on it. And it was an actress who was in the film, and her signature was $40 personalized, $80 if you wanted it not personalized. And I thought that was just ridiculous. And I just chose not to add her to the poster. $80 is, I don't make a ton of money. It's so I just, on principle, I didn't want it, and it was going to make the poster not what I wanted. I was going to, no matter if I paid, if it was signed to me, and I have this one autograph that's signed to Frank, and then all 10 others that don't say it. Collecting has to be what you want it to be. Your collection should reflect your taste. You're going to put a lot of, some of us are going to put a lot of money into it. It has to make you happy, and that just wasn't going to make me happy. So, again, hopefully.
So, have you found a little follow-up to that? Have you found that when you explain, like you said, that I'm never going to sell this, is one day this collection is going to be to my daughter or whatever, do you find that talent is receptive to that explanation, or?
She wasn't, but it varies. It really does. And it depends on, there's so many factors. It could be on one day with one particular signer, they would say a hard no. And the next day they might say yes. A lot of it is mood. It depends on their line, their personality. It's worth a try. If you were to explain it, I guess kind of like what I just said about my daughter. But the unfortunate thing with autographs is autograph collecting portrayed in the media. It's not us. It's not folks going to Celebration because we love Star Wars and we want to have this connection, this piece of paper, that this signature. It's a memento of me at Celebration standing next to John Morton, who is Boba Fett and Dak. And this piece of paper is this signature is, every time I look at it, I'm going to think, just for that, for those few minutes, I was at Celebration. I was with John Morton. I was with Peter Mayhew, whoever it was. I was with Bella Luna, the Borodor, who's barking behind the door, my dog, who has to be part of every show I ever do. My apologies, folks. What you typically see is, the biggest name actor coming out of a car, and a bodyguard comes over and people throwing autographs at them, and here, sign this. And there's no politeness, there's shoving. That's what autograph collecting is for a lot of people and for a lot of the signers. And that's what we're fighting against, even with the ones that could do conventions. I apologize. So the person that should be taking care of that dog that's barking is deaf and can't hear that the dog is barking. So my apologies. Dave, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That's a perfect thing. Is the talent are going to be people, and sometimes they're going to be receptive to it, and sometimes they're not going to be receptive to it. I myself try and explain the same thing. Is that one day I will not be here, and I have two daughters, so
Yeah.
who gets what and this and that. So try not to do the personalization. So we have plenty of other questions. So you'd mentioned about top loaders and that the autograph will eventually stick to that. For photos, autographs, how do you feel about and what will happen if you kind of use top loaders for their intended purpose? If you have an autograph on a comic, that comic in that acid-free bag, is a top loader still going to be okay? Is that acid-free bag going to be okay?
For comics, if you bag and board them, you should be fine. I haven't personally. I haven't run into issues with bagged to board comics. You get them and you put them in your comic box. You should be fine. I haven't had any issues, and I would say, to be honest, I would say the last 4 or 5 years, outside of through the mail collecting, comics are a huge part of my collecting. I do a lot of signed comics. And it started because they were free usually, and it really built my appreciation of the comic art that's out there, and it's become a lot of my passion of collecting. So yeah, I think bag, board, and get them right into your comic box. If you know the comic box, that a lot of them, they're white reinforced kind of cardboard with a top that goes over. They also have them in more reinforced hard plastic, metal, I believe. But I would not put the comic in a top loader. It is a different type of paper, and paper is part of this equation when we're talking about the ink coming off. I think you're going to be safer, bag and board them and put them away.
Excellent. Let's see. So this one may be a too soon, but the question has been asked: are there any rumblings on who may be in charge of the autograph hall?
Yeah.
I think that was in reference to C2E2 was also run by Reed Pop. Didn't seem to have outside parties in charge of the autograph area. What are we thinking is going to happen for Celebration?
So I can't comment on anything I know about it yet.
Yep.
I will say that Reed Pop shows, and remember, Reed Pop does New York Comic Con, which is, depending on the year, the first or second largest convention in North America, between Comic Con in San Diego and Fan Expo Canada. They run New York Comic Con is run in-house. Their autograph hall is run in-house. They have people that do it. There is rumbling, there is talk about who will do it. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. There's a lot of theories, but nothing that we can say definitive. But it's for those of you that are questioning this, it's right to question it. It's okay. If people say, well, I would never downplay people asking that question, because I have the same question, right? Autograph hall is a big part of my Celebration experience, and I want it to be the best it can be. We know it's not going to be Tops. Tops has been sold to Fanatics, and I don't imagine Fanatics is going to be. I don't even think the sale goes through before May, and so I can't imagine Fanatics is going to be doing this. But yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see and hope that, because I meant to say it's now January 10th, and when is Celebration? May, the second or third week in May. I should know this off the top of my head.
Memorial Day weekend, whatever weekend that is, I would think third.
So we're definitely in that time that we would start to hear things about. I would be hearing about contracts at this time already. Contracts in the past have started even earlier than this, and I usually hear about that beforehand. I haven't heard anything yet, so that I guess I said more than more than I said I would say. We just have to wait and see.
Well, like I said, I figured that was kind of too soon, but the question was asked,
Yeah,
so I wanted to pass that one along.
yeah.
Um, let's see whose question is this. This is Scott Jameson is asking,
Hi, Scott.
saying that, you know, he's always gotten the provided photos that the talent has there on the table, but it sounds like, getting some other items to vary the collection and have some other things signed maybe in order is, can you talk about some of your favorite things, some of your most unique things, some good options and items other than an 8x10 or a poster to be signed?
There's so many. There's so many great things. I'll start with me personally. I have, if you're familiar with Abrams, it's a book publishing company. They put out the Art of Star Wars books, and so I'm looking at it right now. There's Art of Comics, illustrations, posters, The Mandalorian. They just with beautiful artwork. And now what we've seen with The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, they're really highlighting the concept art for these shows. And Abrams does these books. So, for example, the art of posters. I took that to Chicago with me. And the back has the name of every artist that's in the book, which is a nice autograph checklist. And I was able to go around from table to table in Autograph Alley and get signatures on the front page of the title page of the book, which is perfect for autographs. White page, just as the title in the middle, and then great for signatures. So books are a big thing for me for getting signed. And I don't, if I do artwork, some people get artwork, or say of Boba Fett, and they'll have one of the actors or stuntmen who were in the suit sign it. Personally, what I like to do is if the artwork, I want to highlight the person that made the art, and I will just get the artist to sign it. So art, books, these are big. But if we're talking about, when I think of celebration autograph collecting, I'm thinking the entire celebration, not just thinking autograph hall. People like to get figures signed. It's big. Funko Pops get signed. These aren't things I do, but there's just so many. There's so many different things to get signed. There's really no limit. Cards. Topps has done Star Wars cards since 1977. I'm kind of looking around my room to see what else I might get signed. If you have a passion for it, if it makes you happy, do it. I will show you something that I'm working on now. I don't know if this is going to come through. Let's see. Okay,
Yeah.
does that come out?
Yeah, we can see it as long as we can still see your eyes. It'll show up.
Okay. So this is Gregor from the Clone Wars. Gregor is built on, and that's the only helmet that I own. I just got it maybe last week. It was made by somebody in Russia. Great company. So some people get those helmets signed themselves. I know a lot of people that have a friend that has an Imperial, the Emperor's Guard, the red helmet from Return of the Jedi. He has all his signatures on that. People that have stormtroopers, and they get, sometimes they just only get stormtroopers on it, and sometimes they get all their autographs on it. Most popular is Vader's helmet. I see a lot of people getting signatures on Vader's helmet. You get a gold or silver paint pen on the black. It's beautiful. Get creative. So yeah, there's ideas that we can throw out there, but be creative. If it makes you happy, you could probably get a signature on it. And there's no wrong way to do this, right? One of my favorite celebration stories of autographs that are not, I wouldn't have thought about it, is my very good friend Josh. He lives out in Chicago. He brought a baseball, the celebration with him. And he texts me, he's like, I brought a baseball for David Eckstein to sign just in case he's at Ashley's table. Is it okay if I go ask him to sign it? So I saw David at Ashley's table. I was like, my buddy bought a baseball. Will you sign it for him? And he's like, yeah, of course. Yeah, bring him over. Ashley's husband is
Absolutely, yeah.
World Series MVP. Is that? I don't know if that's right. I feel like he was a World Series MVP. Phenomenal player. He signed it, and I never would have thought of that. And he did. He brought the ball with him. Think the things that you want to think about is, if you bring a house. So for me, like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I'm feeling old. I don't want to carry a helmet with me around the show. I don't even like to carry posters, to be honest. My friends know I don't like posters. I don't like to carry them around with me. Just not my thing. And I tend to be hesitant to say what I don't like to do because I don't want to influence the hobby in a way like, well, Frank doesn't do it. Or, I'm saying it's wrong. Say it's wrong for me. What's wrong for me might be right for you, right? The best example of this is if you look at people's Funko collections, people have just these amazing autographs on Funkos. Not something I would ever do. I don't have the room for it. Even if I wanted to, I could never do figures. So it has to be what works for you. Be creative. There's really the only thing I would say do not bring to Celebration and ask to get signed is if Anthony Daniels does come. Those of you who are familiar with the Topps card of C-3PO, that it looks to be inappropriate, and if you Google that, you can figure that out. If you don't know what it is, he's not going to sign that card for you. He refuses. He will not sign that card. So they always have, if you might get really creative and think, bring something, and they might refuse to sign your thing. All right, it is always in their prerogative to say I'm not going. So this is a little bit different from what John Ottman asked, where they only personalize things like that. They also have the right to refuse to sign something. I'm a big fan of the Godfather movies, and I sent an actor a picture. One of the pictures I sent him was his character dead. And he did not sign that picture for me. It was a great picture, but just wasn't going to sign that. So they do have the right to say no, and keep that in mind.
And a couple of follow-ups to your comment to this question. There'll be several of these. So talk a little bit about how to be prepared for a lot of talent charges different and prorates for 3D items or things other than the 8x10s that are at their table.
Yeah, we don't know what. So I don't know what. So I honestly don't remember in Chicago if we had different price tiers, but we very well could see it in Anaheim because it's happening at shows and private signings everywhere else. So an 8x10, 11x14 is the base price. And then if it's a figure, Funko Pop, helmet, it's a lot more. So here's one. If Carl Weathers attends Celebration, and I no idea, but if he does, Carl Weathers charges about $80 for a flat item, $300 for a 3D item. That's $300. I believe this was something he's done because of Rocky and the boxing gloves, but it has, excuse me, it's carried over to helmets and toys for the Mandalorian. I can't imagine he would change his policy if he's at Celebration. It's very important to be aware of this. Most shows, you'll know this in advance. And that's something we'll look at because we are going to, once they start making announcements, we're going to tear this apart and we're going to look at prices and look for things like this. It's very important to know. That's a great question.
All right, and I've been saving this one for a while because I know this will go down the rabbit hole a little bit. The question is, and you've mentioned it, do you ever bring your own pens, markers for specific items? What do you like? And tell us all about different pens and markers.
Yeah. So I use the ones I love the most. It's in my hand right now. I use these for when, I don't hand it to them at the table. I'll use whatever pen they have. Uh, that's on a Sharpie if they have something. A lot of them will have pens that aren't Sharpies. So the term paint pen is out there, and it's just that term paint pen uh, is a way a lot of people go. Especially you see them again. I'll go back to the Funko collectors. You see some of those colors that just pop, right? Yeah, pun intended. With these paint pens, you get a gorgeous autograph that's going to last. The thing with paint pens is the traditional paint pens. They have to be primed, meaning when you see somebody doing this, shaking the pen, they're priming it, and there's the risk of pooling. So there's a risk that when the pen touches the paper, whether it's a poster, 8x10, whatever it is, that the ink will drain out of it, and you'll have this big circle pool of ink on your autograph. Now, if you did that, you're at somebody's table and that happens, and it's one of the 8x10s, they're going to rip it up. They're going to give you a new one. If you brought in a poster that's already signed by Alec Guinness and Harrison Ford and everybody else, and that happens on your poster, you can't. That's gone forever, right? I shy away from them. Excuse me. Some situations, some settings, they're great. So these are paint pen. What I have here is it's a Sakura Permapaque pen, and we'll put that up. Sakura is the company. Permapaque is the brand. And I have bronze, gold, black, silver. I said silver, white, and blue are the colors that I keep. White is because of Ashley Eckstein, because she signed one of my autographs in white, which I had never seen before. It is, I would say, it's one of my best looking autographs. Her signatures are already a work of art in itself, but the white on the black was amazing. That's what I use, and that was recommended. I was first recommended by my co-host on the Star Wars Autograph News podcast, Graham Miles, who's been doing this for a very long time. He used to book guests for conventions in the UK. Just forgotten more about autograph collecting than most of us will ever know. Right? He recommended these, and I swear by them, and this is all I use. I can't recommend them enough. And I'm sorry, they don't pool. It does come out like any other marker. Just the quality is much better. They don't fade, and there's no risk of pooling. That was the other selling point on these.
Excellent. Spencer's talking about that he likes and he enjoys the Craft Smart premiums from Michaels. Is a thing that he uses. And I think this one's been answered in the chat, but let's hear your take and your experiences. You said that you don't do Funkos, but have you ever seen talent in your experience if you have a Funko box that you've of course taken and flattened down, do they generally charge flat or 3D for that?
That I don't know. I don't know if there's a consistent. What are people saying in the chat?
Well, Spencer, who I would think would know, says that is going to be a 3D item most of the time. I didn't know if you had ever heard contrary.
No, I was just going to say, see if Spencer's in the chat, I was say he would know too. I honestly don't. I don't know. I try to work hard to keep up with Funko because it's not my thing, and I do try to pay attention to those things because it's obviously a big segment of the collecting community. But that I don't know. It's a great question. I think it would be worth if a conversation with whoever's at the table. If they're saying it's a 3D and you're like, it's flat. It's literally flat.
Yeah. So the question is from Mike. So I think the answer is sweet talk, Mike. You gotta play that and say, hey, come on, I flattened it out.
Mike. I would almost guarantee that you're going to get that at the flat rate, that you will get that at the flat rate, because it's you. And I would make sure that I was right with you, so that I would just work off that smoothness and see what I could do too, because it's how can anybody say no to Mike? Come on.
That's right.
I
So
do just want to throw in there, because you mentioned somebody likes a pen from that they get at Michael's.
yes,
Okay, I just want to throw out that those Itoya binders, you can get them at Michael's. And if Michael's, I know for the longest time, if you went on their website and ordered anything, it was 20% off. I don't know if they're still doing it, but I used to I would be sitting in the Michael's parking lot, go to the website, order it to save the 20%, and then go in and pick it up. Check it out, because they're like $20 or so, $15, $20, but if you can save money, why not?
excellent. Scooby asks, have you noticed that talent not wanting to use your pen more these days with the current world situation in the last couple of years?
Great question. Actually, I assumed that they would not take pens, but that's not been the case so far from what I've been hearing. And I've been hearing that more from shows in the UK, that they have been willing to use your pen. I was surprised. When outside of Celebration, the actors that have typically, up until a couple of years, that needed the conventions the most are the older actors that have no pension. And especially with Star Wars, if you film for 2 days and you're a stormtrooper, you're not getting residuals. You're not getting. He'll get, even Dave Prowse, he would say, "This is my pension." Signing autographs. He was Darth Vader, right? He was still making money, but he depended on those conventions, and he did a lot of them. Peter did a lot of them too, and Jeremy. Those three, Dave, Peter, and Jeremy did them. They were doing conventions almost every weekend of the year, right? Because they needed it. So a lot of them are of an age that the risk for COVID was even that much higher. And yeah, I just assume I wouldn't even want to give them one of my pens, just out of fear of risk, that increased risk. But what I've been told is a lot of them have been. I would just say, in Scooby, of course, there is absolutely no risk of this with you. I would just say, if you do have a specific pen you'd like to use, just be extra considerate when making that request for them to use your pen, because out of consideration of that increased risk of transmission. Okay. And if they do it, great. If they don't, you really have to show some kindness and just say, just wanted to check. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. No, whatever pen you have is fine. Okay.
And Mike comments that at LA Comic Con they were providing alcohol wipes, and he was using them to wipe down the pen before handing it to the talent and sanitizing that. And at Galaxy Con, I kind of did a similar thing, which is I would take a new pen out of a pack and pass to the talent and then leave it. Now it's yours.
Yep, perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, and they see that type of effort is, they're putting themselves at risk to go to shows, even if there's plexiglass and everything else. And some of them are still working actors, and others are just frail health, or they're older, and they're coming out. And that type of give and take of respect, that they're for whatever reason that they're there. It could purely be because of a paycheck. It could be because I don't want to let the fans down. Whatever reason that they're there, they've decided to be at the show. One more person that you can meet who is in a show, here we're talking Star Wars, that you can meet and get their autograph. So they've come out, they've showed that respect. We have to make sure we show that respect back to them, even though this is a cash transaction, right? You're not paying for a meet and greet. You're handing them money, they give you an autograph. Anything you get more on top of that, we always say that's bonus. All right, so that's especially with Celebration, because Celebration, we have a lot of people that don't go to a lot of other shows. They go to Celebration, or they've never been to another show. You see that at Celebration all the time. They're expecting that they can, when they get to the sign, it's their turn in line, that they can sit and talk, and some you can, but many you can't. There's just no time. They want that interaction to be a minute or less.
Okay. And like I said, I knew the pins would go down the rabbit hole.
Yep.
Excuse me. A follow-up question is from Jonathan Notman. That he understands that certain color of ink fades faster than others.
Yep.
Which color pens might you avoid using for autographs?
And again, this is on Sharpie. So when we say what color, I'm also assuming that's a Sharpie, because a lot of the
Hmm.
other colors, depending on the type of marker. So red Sharpies are the worst. Don't ever use a red Sharpie. I mean, I want to say, really do everything you can not to use a Sharpie at all. All right. And for some people, that's probably the strangest thing to say, because it seems that Sharpie's the only game in town. But we've talked about why we shouldn't do that. But black will fade. Black will fade if you put it on the wall. If you display it, black is going to fade really quickly. Uh, Blue, and people have this down to a science. People know when Sharpie changed the ink, and they'll say after before this year you're safe. If you got it after this year, it's going to fade. I don't have that information. It's a little bit more overload for me that I have retained at this point. Avoid all Sharpies if you can. Absolutely avoid red Sharpies. And if you have black, you don't want that in the light at all. It's going to stay in your binder. Put it away.
So I would assume that from your love and endorsement of it, that is not the case for the Sakura pens, that the black and the blue is still an okay color, or do they still fade?
They don't. Or they have, or it's not been. The other thing, Sharpie's been around for a very long time, so there's a lot more data on how Sharpies hold up than there is for a lot of other markets. But there is no indication of that fading with the Sakura markers.
Excellent. So let's see. I think we are just about wrapping up on the questions, except this one. This is my favorite. I'm saving this one for you.
Okay.
So Jeff wants to know is how much exactly does a Frank D. Rich autograph go for? Like,
Frank the autograph. It's oh, Jeff. I was going to say which Jeff, and I was like, there's only one Jeff, and there's only one Jeff that
you
would ask that
know,
question. I know it's Jeff. There are no Frank D. There are two Frank D. Rich autographs in existence besides the one that's on the T-shirt. Uh, I work with people with developmental disabilities, and my office mate for a very long time, he has adopted children who have special needs as well. And one day he came into the office. He's like, my son really wants one of your shirts and he wants you to sign it for him. How do you say no to that? So I signed it for him for free.
well, there we go.
All right.
And like I said, that's kind of winding down, and that brings us to this right here that you already started talking about, the quickest, easiest way to get a Frank D. Rich autograph.
There it is. Yeah, you can get one. That's not how I sign my checks. So I had to come up with a new signature, so that's not the way I sign my checks. Anyway, no, yeah, I love these shirts. Go to the TeePublic store, and I don't have to tell you, because if you're here, you probably already own several. David has a shirt. I don't even have it yet. Go to TeePublic. We have a ton of great shirts. Go to the site for Virtual Cantina to get the shirts. There it is. I love it. I love it. Proceeds help to help us to do all the great things that we're doing. There's so much lined up. Bella Luna's excited. She can't wait. Check us out, TeePublic, and just Virtual Cantina at Celebration. You'll find us. This shirt, this pops. I cannot wait to see this shirt live in Anaheim walking around. If you don't have it yet, you got to move your butts, because the deadline is February 5th. And this is a great shirt. So get your orders in before February 5th. There's a link in the comments that you can place your order. It's going to be very much like this shirt that David has. I think that he's going to show. So that same style. You've seen this. If you've been in the group and active in the group, you've seen this shirt probably every day in the group. Somebody has a picture of that shirt. It's going to be the same type of shirt, different colors for our Bunta Eve event. That will be the night before celebration kicks off, and much more about that in the days and weeks to come. Again, orders due February 5th. That's only a couple weeks away. So,
And that is a hard deadline, sir. There will be no more after that.
yeah, don't miss out. All right, so you're watching this show. Thank you so much for watching the show. But we have a ton of great content for you at the Virtual Cantina Network. So many great shows, Jedi Archives, and of course the Happy Hour and the watch longs that we do. So many great shows. Check us out. We're getting close to 900 subscribers, and we've had this channel for a very relatively short period of time. We're already almost at 900. So, nice little bonus. You have a chance to win some cool prizes or a cool prize when we hit that 900. We're close.
We're sitting at about 845 right now.
845.
And I always like to tell everybody, if you're already subscribed, even, I know many of you have a work email address. Many of you have a personal email address. Many of you have several personal email addresses for different business ventures like Star Wars Autograph News and other things going on.
Yeah. Sign
Sign up with all your accounts. Increases your chances of being the one who gets the cool prize. So great suggestions, and yeah, that's going to be coming up pretty quick. So get in there and help us celebrate 900 subscribers on YouTube. It's a great accomplishment. Bella is asking if I can set up an email account for her so she can win the prize. Completely and totally you can.
Yeah, she's a good girl. We'll get her in. All right, and let's see. What did I forget? Have I forgotten? We are
good for this.
I want to say we are
about like doing this again in a month.
Yes, I cannot wait. We do have, obviously, Facebook is our thing, and YouTube. We have an Instagram and Twitter account. Check us out there too. Subscribe, like, follow. Help us out on those channels too. A lot of great content. Belle, give me a minute. Come on, almost done. And yeah, and we're gonna do this again. Second Monday of every month leading to celebration. You can, if you have questions in the meantime or things that you might like me to talk about on the next show, you can reach out, send a message, and be sure to check us out at StarWarsAutographNews.com. There's a lot of shows happening. I've just updated the Find a Signer page, which has Bella. Right now, we're almost at 100 signers, 10 celebration, Star Wars signers that are at conventions this year. So check it out, because you might be able to get some, meet some actors before we even have celebration. So check us out, StarWarsAutographNews.com. I gotta go see what's going on with that dog. Everyone, thank you so much for being with us tonight. David, thank you so much for putting together a great show. I am just so impressed with everything you do. Thank you so much. And we will see you again next month, February, and we'll be that much closer, another month closer to the celebration. So we'll see you then. And until February, may the force be with you.
Yeah, may the force be with you.